Coach David Buchanan. Coach Chuck Smith. Two legendary high school football coaches. This is the Coach's Office, a behind-the-scenes look at Kentucky high school football. Time for another Coach's Office Trivia Timeout. Which Kentucky high school basketball team featured a Hall of Fame football coach and a Heisman Trophy winner who both made the All-State basketball team in their starting lineup?
Welcome to the Coach's Office, behind the scenes with Chuck Smith and David Buchanan. This is Season 4, Episode 7.
I just lost you.
All of the state championship teams have been decided. I'm Chuck Smith. I'm joined by co-host David Buchanan, podcast editor, trivia teller Mac Yoakum. Our YouTube version of this podcast is at TCOP. If you access it that way, please hit like and subscribe. We would appreciate it. Our show tonight, I think you're really going to enjoy it. David and I are going to recap the state championship games. We're going to talk a little bit about each game and each class, all 6 classes. We're going to talk a little bit about Mr. Football possibilities and possibly even who we think Mr. Football should be. And then we're going to touch on the Coach of the Year possibilities and who could possibly win the overall Coach of the Year award. Our tough topic for tonight, we do have a tough topic question. And that question is, should there be minimum requirements to host a Kentucky High School Athletic Association football playoff game? That's a really good question, and it's coming at a really good time. There were some issues with that this year. I don't know if we'll get into those, but there were some issues. The games, of course, there's no games of the week or anything like that. We're just going to get right into the recapping of the state championship games. First, David would probably like to talk a little bit and maybe say something about any of the hospitality room comments.
Yeah.
David hosted the hospitality room. He does that every year as part of the Kentucky Football Coaches Association.
Well, first of all, I want to say thank you to the University of Kentucky, their football program, Coach Will Stein for allowing us to continue with this. Todd Shadowin, one of your teammates, is in charge of the K Club, and Coach Mark Perry, yes, and Coach Mark Perry helps us get this set up each year. But it's a really good setup for our coaches, and it gets them. They can come get out of the weather. We get pizza for them. We had door prizes from Kelly Wilkins, who's one of our sponsors on this podcast. BSN Adam Federley provided some jackets we gave away as door prizes. At Anderson County High School, the culinary class made Christmas cookies for the coaches, and they were great. They were really, really good. So we had a good time of the coaches hanging out, and I just appreciate Coach Stein, Todd Shadowin, Coach Mark Perry for doing that. And then again, of course, Jeff Marksberry and Jimmy Reed, who sort of put it all together at the association level.
Yeah, it was a really good weekend. I think the accommodations and the hospitality was great. I think the games were really good, and that's what David and I are going to talk about right now. First, let's kick off with the single A game. David, KCD Kentucky Country Day beat Raceland 20-16. Matthew Jones, I guess this was KCD's first state championship ever. They were able to beat Raceland, who has been really battling every year. Seems like it seems like it's always been with Pikeville. They just they've been knocking on the door. I think they'll get through that door one of these days. They didn't get through this year. They lost 20-16 to KCD, giving them their first ever state championship. David.
Yeah, the fascinating thing about that, Kentucky Country Day, I think it was 2 seasons ago, they changed from a spread offense to a triple option offense because they felt like that fit their team better. And I'm not sure if this is correct or not, but I went back and I looked at the stats from this game, and unless I missed something or they were inaccurate, it had them running 34 plays of offense and winning this ball game Friday afternoon. So I think they tried to eat a lot of clock while they had it, and hey, they were able to find a way to win. Raceland did a good job of running the ball Friday, but Kentucky Country Day ultimately was able to keep them out of the end zone and get the win.
And I know they had some big defensive stands in that game from Kentucky Country Day as well. And our friend who we're connected to through Mercer County, Coach Ed Long, is the defensive coordinator. And I know he was really excited about this state championship. His son, I think, is one of the leaders of the team, maybe the quarterback of the team.
Yes,
and,
that's correct.
So we were really happy for him and happy that he was able to experience this with his son. There's no feeling like that. What a great story there.
It really is. And, the other thing about Caden Long and son, Caden's uncle is Brad Matherly. And, Harrisburg High had all those great teams. But Harrisburg High didn't get to the state championship game till 1988 when their quarterback was Brad Matherly. They only had 18 players, but they got to the state championship game. So Caden Long's got a little old hog in him and a little old dog in him, and he quarterbacked to a state championship. He did a great job. And he's a 4th and 40 quarterback as well.
Well, there you go. Nice.
That's
Very
right.
nice. Hey, David, let's get into the 2A game. LCA, Lexington Christian Academy, coached by Oakley Watkins, beat Owensboro Catholic 33-28. That was a pretty competitive game. I think this is Coach Watkins' first
season.
First year as a head football coach, and he walks away with, I think it's LCA's 2nd state championship. I believe that Paul Raines won back in 2009, maybe. And so I think this is LCA's 2nd state championship. Coach Watkins was able to get that done 33-28 over Owensboro Catholic. I know they beat Owensboro Catholic, coached by Jason Morris. He's been there 3 straight years, and he's finished up, runner-up 3 times. There's nothing wrong with that at all now. I mean, if you get to the state championship game, you've done a really good job. And to get there 3 straight years is quite an accomplishment. So hats off to Owensboro Catholic. I'm really happy for Lexington Christian, and I'm happy for Coach Oakley Watkins. First year winning the state championship. You know what? It's all going to be downhill from now. You're not going to top that. You're not going to top that every year.
No. Hey, Oakley's a Center College guy. So I was happy to see a guy from Center pull that off. And then, Abe, I do want to say this, though. Owensboro Catholic blocked a punt late in that game and scored. And they made it really interesting at the end. And I think that says a lot about Coach Morris and the job he does, because I think kids, sometimes if you're not in a well-coached program, kids will think punt return is when I'm going to catch my breath. And they didn't catch their breath. They blocked a punt. And he's done a great job there. And congratulations to Owensboro Catholic on an excellent season. They did great.
Yeah. And then we get into 3A. We got Cal Christian Academy of Louisville beat Murray 42-7. This was Coach Hunter Cantwell's 4-peat. They won 4 in a row.
4 in a row.
I mean, that is just really, really awesome. Hunter has been on our podcast this past year. He's always offering questions. I think he lives and dies football, and his Cal team is just showing that. They're just well coached and they're killing people. And what a year Murray had. This is Melvin Cunningham. I think this is his 3rd season as the head football coach of Murray. And in 3 years, he's got them to the state championship game. What an accomplishment. That's quite a feat in itself. David?
Yeah, well, hey, I want to say too, and I didn't even realize it till I got there, but they have a Mr. Football candidate in Wyatt Robbins, their quarterback. Wyatt got hurt in the semifinal game, so
Oh,
they didn't have him for the state championship.
didn't
Now,
know that.
sweetest, yeah, Coach Cunningham's son came in there and played quarterback for him. He's a freshman, and he's going to be really, really good. It's Kenyon Cunningham. I'm pretty sure that's his son. I'm not 100% sure, but they battled and they competed, and I tell you what, Coach Cunningham did a good job of finding ways to be creative on offense to be able to move the ball some on a really good Cal team. Cal was going to be tough to beat, and then when they lost Wyatt Robbins,
Yeah.
boy, it got even tougher, even faster. Jackson Burke in that game, he might have completed every pass. I mean, he has set a national record completing over 80% of his passes. And here's the crazy part. He's a sophomore. And Nash Whalen, that's the other thing too. I got those two right on MVP. Nash Whalen and Jackson Burke. They're both sophomores. They're both going to be back next 2 years. So those teams are going to continue to be among the elite in their class.
Yeah, I didn't know that Murray lost their starting quarterback. It would be hard to beat Cal with the starting quarterback, but without him, it's going to be almost impossible. Let's go to 4A, and we got Boyle County, coached by Justin Haddix. They beat Franklin County 34-0. This is Boyle County's 5th state championship in 6 years and the 13th overall title. Wow. And, Boyle County is just machine. I know this is their 13th title. Trivia question. Who is the head football coach when they won their first 5?
We know who that is. That's, as my kids would say, that's Uncle Chuck. So we already know that. We already know the answer to that one. Chuck Smith.
David, Eddie at Franklin County, he was one of my assistants, and he's been there knocking on the door a few times now. He's been the runner-up a few times, and I tell you, he's going to get through that door one of these days. He does a fantastic job, and he's going to get through the door, no doubt about it. Hats off to Boyle County. They're just a great football program. They're like a machine, and they're just doing a wonderful job there, and 13 state championships overall.
And hey, another thing about Boyle, I got that MVP right also. Seneca Driver.
Yeah.
He's a junior. He's back next year. He's a great football player. The Rebels ain't going anywhere. All right, so what we got next? 5A?
We got 5A, David, and that's Owensboro. Owensboro, coached by DeMarcus Gainaway, and they beat Pulaski County, coached by Travis Burns, 35-7. And this was Coach Gainaway's his first title in his first year as a head football coach. So he's like Coach Oakley Watkins. He's a first year head coach that took his team to a state championship. What a tremendous first year you could have possibly is to take your team to a state championship in your first year.
Yeah, he did. He did a really good job. They had the running back that's going to Vandy, Hampton, a great football player, Evan Hampton. And I tell you what, Coach Ganaway's son, DeMarcus Ganaway, he's a junior. He is a really, really good football player. He's their quarterback. Coach Ganaway showing up was big. His son showing up to play quarterback was big also. And that really changed them. And I think everybody in red black is thankful the Ganaways walked through the door. They had a nice football team. They really did.
Yeah, and hats off to Pulaski County and Travis Burns. Travis was one of my assistants as well, and he's in his second year as the head football coach. So in 2 years, he's taken his team to the state championship game. Pretty good, impressive accomplishment right there. Yes, sir.
Yep, I agree.
David, let's go into 6A. And 6A, Trinity, coached by Jay Cobb, beat South Warren coached by Brandon Smith. They beat South Warren. I'm part of that staff. I help with that staff. They beat us 28-14. This is Trinity's three-peat, and they won 3 in a row now, and they're 30th overall. Wow.
And you talk about that a lot on our podcast, is the domination of Trinity and St. X, and that's certainly been the case. I tell you what, though, and I know there's a bias because of what I think of you and Brandon. I'll own that, but I thought y'all had a really good game plan for them. They're well coached. You're well coached. I think Michael Fox, runs the defense at Trinity. I think Tommy Williams runs it and runs their offense. And then Zane Johnson, can you believe this? Zane Johnson is a junior. He's never ended a season without winning a state title. He's been the starter all 3 years. And of course, that's, a former player of mine, that's Jordan Johnson's son. So, hey, congratulations again to both teams on great seasons. And I tell you what, if you were there to watch it, I thought it was the 2 best teams in the state, for what it's worth. I was very, very impressed with both football teams. I thought that nothing against the other 5 or the other 10 that were there. They were all good, but I did think that South Warren and Trinity just seemed to be at a different level. You really did.
And this was Brandon Smith's and South Warren's first year in 6A.
Yes.
And they got, to the state championship in their first year in 6A. And, of course, losing 28-14 to a really, really talented Trinity team. I mean, they just have got a lot of talent. There's no question about who had the most talent. They're just a lot of Division I players and already commits. And offers on that team. It was fun. It was a good game, and I think South Warren did a great job. I think Trinity did a great job. Really impressed with Trinity's defense and Michael Fox. He was I coached, or I actually played high school football with his dad, Tommy Fox, and so I got to talk to him a little bit too. But great atmosphere. We had fun. And let me tell you this, David. Let's get into something else here. These are our picks for the year. Now, let me tell you what David has done. Okay, David was 5-0. We didn't pick the Trinity and South Warren, the 6A game, because of my direct involvement with South Warren. So we left that one off the table. So there's 5 games that we picked. David was 5-0 in the state championship game. He didn't miss a pick. He is now over 3 years, 22 out of 23 over 3 years. He's only missed 1 pick in 3 years. He blames that on me, but he's only missed 1 pick.
Yes, it is your fault, 100%.
And for the year in the playoffs, just the playoffs, not the season, David is 31 out of 38. That's 82%. I mean, that's unbelievable. And so I've got a suggestion here. Before I get to the suggestion, my picks, I was 2 out of 5 in the state championship game. And
you were busy. You were busy. I had time. You didn't have any time. You were working.
And for the playoffs, I was 24 out of 38, which is 63%, which is really not that bad, but it is bad when you put Davis up there at 82%. So for that reason, I'm going to make a suggestion to the Kentucky High School Athletic Association, because I hear all these gripes about the RPI. Let's use Cal Preps. Well, I'm saying let's use DBP, David Buchanan, for the playoff rankings and seedings, and we'll go from there.
Well, I don't know. Hey, but I am blaming you for that one. You kept telling me how much you all were struggling at South Warren. And I was believing it, which I should know better because, as I've said often, I'm the only guy that worked for Larry French that tells the truth. The rest of y'all lie through your teeth. But I was buying it that you all were really struggling. And it just really hit me really hard watching your all Trinity game. And I'm like, that sucker's been lying through his teeth. I'm like, they are phenomenal. And I'm like, I should have picked Bowling Green, but I didn't pick Bowling Green because they barely beat you, and you're down there acting like you all can't spell football. But it is my fault because I should know to never listen to you when you're telling me how tough things are. I mean, that's how it goes.
David is complaining about the Cooper Bowling Green game. I think it was last year.
It was last year.
So he did Cooper over Bowling Green, and
it's your fault because I bought that you all were not that good, and I'm stupid that after all these years that I would believe a word you say when you say we're not very good. That's on me.
David, we're going to switch into the Mr. Football talk now.
Okay.
And,
all right.
I know you've done some extensive research on this. If you want to go ahead and go first, that'd be fine.
Yeah. So what I did is I went through for the Mr. Football part, and here's the thing. This doesn't necessarily line up with what the KHSAA will do. I tried to pick who I thought was Mr. Football for each class, so I picked seniors, and I've got a list of future Mr. Football candidates. But for Class A, do you want to do this? We go back and forth each class, or you want me to do all 6 and then you do all 6?
You do all yours because I didn't do it by class.
I got you. Okay, so for Class A, my Mr. Football is Caden Long. He's the KCD quarterback. He had to learn a new offense. Here's what I love in this modern day and age. The modern quarterback, he wants to sit in a shotgun. He wants to sit in the shotgun, and he wants to look like he plays on Sundays. Here's a kid that said, oh, we need to run the triple option. Hey, I'm going to do it. I'm going to get hit. I'm going to do it. So he led his team to a state title. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Whatever it takes to win.
And I like that. So he's my Class A guy. Class 2A, actually, I went with Miles Edge. He plays running back and linebacker at Owensboro Catholic. And I just like that. I like that toughness. I like his willingness to play both sides of the ball. He's been in the state finals 3 seasons. I mean, he's playing some elite football. I think he's a tough son of a gun. Class 3A, Wyatt Robbins is a senior. I went with him. He's got over 3,000 yards passing, and he led his team to the state title. Class 4A, I had co-winners. Cash Harney, the quarterback at Cove Cath, and Cam Eaststep at Corbin, who plays both sides of the ball. And listen to this. He's kicked a PAT, and he's got 6 turnovers on defense. And I ate that stuff up. I mean, he really does what he's got to for his team. For Class 5A, my Mr. Football was Evan Hampton. He's the running back at Owensboro. I thought he was the best player in the state. He's going to Vandy. He was my overall pick for Mr. Football. If I'm going to put all 6 classes together, Evan Hampton he's Mr. Football for all, in my opinion. But the second place to me is Jacob Savage from Ryle, who played running back and linebacker. He signed with Indiana. He played both ways against a brutal 6A schedule. How does a guy do that? How does a guy play both ways against a Northern Kentucky 6A schedule? That sucker is a warrior. And I do think when I looked at all of these guys that I picked, I think there was a part of me that these guys were sort of old school, old football. I think that these are the guys that the football gods would smile on. I really do. I like the things I found out about these guys. So they were my 6 picks. I think Evan Hampton is Mr. Football, in my opinion. And here's the thing. They may add some in. He wasn't even the 5A player of the year in Class A. It was somebody else. And that's fine. It's another good player. But I do think Evan is Mr. Football in Kentucky. And then I got a little wound up. I got a little carried away here. I'm giving you an early list. Is that okay?
Let's come back to that. Let me get mine in, then we'll come back.
Okay, you get yours, and then I'll get into my future picks. Go ahead.
Yeah, and I didn't do it quite like you. I didn't go through each class. I just went through who I thought the top 2 and possibly 3 candidates could have been or should have been, in my opinion. And I did, like I said, I didn't do it by class. I like the way you did it. You did a lot of research. Appreciate that. But I didn't quite do it that way.
I had more time last week than you did.
Right. And
so,
but I think that the Mr. Football, and the way Kentucky does it, selects Mr. Football, is that it's they select a player of the year in each class, and then from that list they can add any other candidate that they think is that missed that list that should be on there, and then those are put on a ballot, and then they're voted on by the Kentucky coaches, head football coaches across the state. So that's where the Mr. Football will come from. I'm not even sure when it will come out. Should be pretty soon. But my choice for Mr. Football, based upon what I've seen and have seen, is Evan Hampton of Owensboro. I think he is the best player, or he finished the season as the best player. He also won the Gatorade Player of the Year for 2025. He has a state title under his belt now. He's rushed for over 2,000 yards. He was the MVP, the final MVP of the state championship game. He just has all the numbers and all the credentials to be Mr. Football. I've also seen him on tape. I've also played against him, in terms of coaching. I coached against him, and he really is the real deal. He's a really, really good football player, real explosive, strong legs, can just run, balance, all that stuff. He's really a good player. My second pick, or I think, probably should have been considered, is that Jacob Savage kid. I've seen him on tape. I didn't coach against him. He didn't play in our game when we played Ryle. He was injured. He got injured the week before. But I've seen him on tape, and he is a man among boys. He's he's just like really big, strong, just nasty, mean, just a heck of a football player. What separated him from the rest is he was a two-way player. He started both sides of the ball, and not many kids do that anymore, but he was a star on both sides. He was a star linebacker and also a star running back. He also won the Paul Hornung Award winner for 2025. So he won the Paul Hornung Award, and Evan Hampton won the Gatorade Player of the Year award this year. So both of them split that award. So, Jacob Savage could be in this hunt when this vote comes out to be Mr. Football. There's a guy that I think would have been in the conversation. I don't know what happened. I don't know where he disappeared. But if you would have asked me before the season started who was the best player in Kentucky, I would have told you number 34 running back from Manual. And his name was Garion Trainer. And he was one. I've coached against him a couple of times, and this guy could flat play. He was really good. I don't know what happened to him. I think he must have got hurt this year, because when I did this, I went back and looked for some stats, and there were several games he didn't play in. So that makes sense to me. It makes sense now why he's not in this conversation. I just think when he's healthy, I think he's on another level. I think he is a really good player, if not the best player in the state. But at the end, he didn't show, he wasn't there at the end. Evan Hampton and Jacob Savage were. So I would go with, my choice would be Evan Hampton.
I got you, and I agree. Hey, it just works out. Last Thursday, I got to talk to Coach Eckloff at Manual. I had to get him to help me with the project, and he told me that Trainer, he thinks, is the top rusher in the history of Manual High School. So you're correct. He's a great player. Must have had some injuries or some things that he's had to fight through, but you're not or recognize. I mean, if you're the leading rusher at Manual High School, you're a special football player. Those guys, and I tell you what, he's going to do a great job there. Go ahead.
I've seen him in person, and he is out. He's extremely hard to defend because of his speed and toughness and explosiveness. I do think something must have happened, because he kind of disappeared mid-season in terms of, and I didn't follow him to see if he was injured, but I would bet that he was.
Yeah, I would say so, but he is a great player. There's no doubt about it. All right, so what we into next year?
What do you got for the future?
Hey, yes. All right. So here's what I've got for 2026. You got Zane Johnson coming back for Trinity. He's going for his fourth state title as a quarterback. I think Seneca Driver at Boyle County is going to be a Mr. Football candidate. Dermel Carruthers, the quarterback at Owensboro Catholic, is going to be a candidate. DeMarcus Ganaway, the quarterback at Owensboro, will be a candidate. And then I hope I'm pronouncing his name correctly. Jahad Brown, the running back at Cal, he's a great player. In 2027, 2 state championship winning quarterbacks are sophomores right now. Nash Wayland at LCA and Jackson Burke at Cal are both sophomores. But I tell you another one that, and I'm not going to kid you, I almost picked Franklin County to win 4A because of this young man, Knox Barrett. Knox Barrett is the Franklin County quarterback. He's a sophomore. He's really, really good. Ultimately, I went with Boyle because of Seneca Driver and their depth. And, you know, they proved that out to be the case. But I think he's good. Another really good sophomore is Deion Davidson. He was the only guy I missed. You know, I picked the MVPs last time. The only one I missed was in the Class A game. It was not Caden Long. It was Deion Davidson. He's a running back, and he'll be back. I've got one freshman right now, the 2028 tailback at Danville High School, Javion Mukes. That cat is a big-time football player, and I think some really big schools are going to be going through the hallways at Danville High School to recruit Javion Mukes. He is a really, really good football player, and I'm going to see him next year, third week of the season. We're going to go to Admiral Stadium. It's going to be a big challenge, but Javion Mukes is really, really good, and he's only a freshman. So I think Danville's got a great tailback, quarterback, and linebacker that all three of them are freshmen. So Steve's got a shot at having a really, really good run here. And I think he's getting it done. I really do. He's doing a great job.
Well, I didn't do it as in depth as you do. I can't go back that far. I just don't know. You do watch more than I do because you know you're the head coach of Anderson County High School. But I'll tell you what. Here's what I think next year. I think Seneca Driver will be really, really hard to beat as Mr. Football if he has the kind of year that I think he'll possibly have. I mean, his presence in the game, on the field, just changes everybody's game plan. I mean, the guy is he's tall. I don't know, 6'6", whatever, and he's built well. He can run. He's athletic. I mean, I don't know if he'll be Mr. Football, but he'll be the highest NFL draft choice out of that class because
that's a good point.
He's got all the
disagree on that. Yeah,
he's got all the tools, and he's going to be a very difficult unless he gets hurt or something like that or doesn't have the year. But I just don't see that not happening. He's a very athletic person. I know his mother, when his mother was in school at Boyle County, you could have argued that she was the best athlete in male or female. It didn't matter. She was the best athlete in school when she was a senior in high school. She was quite an athlete. Very well. Okay, let's get into the coach of the year. Go ahead. Shoot away.
All right. I'm going to give my 6 per class, and then I'm going to give my overall. Class A, I went with Matt Jones at Kentucky Country Day. I really got a lot of respect for him and his staff, recognizing they needed to change their offense in the 2023 season or 24 to say, we're not going to run the spread, we're going to run the triple. Man, I admire him. He sold that to his program and his team. We got to do this to win, and it's impressive. Class 2A, I went with Steve Stonebreaker at Danville, restoring Danville football. You know, you sort of went through this a little bit in reverse. It is really hard to build a program from the ground up when you're sitting next door to a powerhouse. And when you took over at Boyle County, I mean, Danville was just unbelievable at that time. Well, now it's in reverse. Yeah, no, they really don't. It was insane how good they were. And he's doing a great job there. And it's tough. especially with the dynamics now of guys moving around so much. But I thought he did a super job, and I think he's got a lot of support at Danville High School to pull this off. Class 3A, this is where my past got me a little bit. I went with Kyle Niederman at Lloyd because he's gotten the juggernauts back up to the top of that class. And, when I was at Mason County, first it was with Rudy Tassini and then Roy Lucas. Man, we had some wars with Lloyd Memorial and the juggernauts. And really, Lloyd was sort of a measuring stick for us. If we could compete with Lloyd, we were among the top 10 teams in our classification, and we were in a district with them. In Class 4A, I went with Luke Salmons from Corbin as the coach of the year. I'm not going to kid you. When they went to Highlands and won that game, that was impressive, over the top impressive. And then to go to Boyle County and be right there with them, and that was impressive. I'm going to say this, though. I think what impressed me the most, I went back and I started Googling stuff. His response to that, the quote unquote, the fumble and all that, he's first class.
What was it?
How many of us?
What was it?
He handled it on the field, but if he's been blasting the officials or making excuses, I haven't heard it.
Yeah.
I haven't heard it. I mean, on his social media and everything, it's all promoting his kids. It's all positive about their season. I'm not sure that I could have handled it nearly as well as he has, but I think he did a phenomenal job. And again, the football part, playing Boyle so tough at Boyle, winning at Highlands is impressive. But I think the thing I appreciate the most is how he handled the adversity, and much respect in that regard. Class 5A, man, I went with DeMarcus Ganaway at Owensboro, their first state title since 1986. I thought that was really impressive to be able to come in and to be able to pull that off. 6A, I went with Brandon Smith at South Warren. They transitioned to 6A very well, and they had a great plan for Trinity. And they really hung in there with Trinity pretty much the entire game. And I just thought that all 6 of these guys, I thought in their class, they were the best in their class. But if I step back and I look at the biggest assignment and what I think is most impressive, nobody's supposed to be able to touch Trinity right now. Nobody's supposed to be able to touch him. And I tell you what, South Warren had a great plan, and they were right there. So my overall coach of the year, and it's not because you're his dad, and that's not. I really think Brandon. I thought that his is a coach of the year for the whole state. I mean, look, we all have biases, but if I step back and I look at 5A to 6A, and I look at how they played Trinity, and I look at what Trinity is now. Let me put it that way. When I look at what Trinity is right now, they're not just Trinity. They're Trinity on crack right now. They're really something else. So that's my pick.
Yeah. Well, good. I agree with a lot of your picks. I have a couple maybe different, but not really, maybe one. But anyway, here's what I did. I didn't, and again, for those who are listening, the overall coach of the year is voted on just like the Mr. Football candidate. Every class gets votes for a coach of the year. So there's a, single A, double A, triple A, and so on and so forth. And then from that list, the coaches vote for an overall coach of the year. So that will come out pretty soon. I didn't do it that way. I didn't look at that list. I don't even know what that list is, to be honest with you. I haven't even seen it. But here's what I did. I looked across the state of Kentucky and who I thought did a really, really exceptional job, and that's who I put on my list. So coach of the year, I have Brandon Smith, South Warren. He moved to 6A and went undefeated, until the state final game. And he took his football team to the state runner-up finish, 13-1, beat a really a powerhouse in the state of Kentucky, or he lost to the state of the powerhouse in the state of Kentucky in the state championship game. My next pick is Melvin Cunningham of Murray. I just think in his third season, he took Murray. I mean, there's people listening to this podcast that's going to have to get on the map and look and see where Murray is. It's in Western Kentucky, but he took them 14-1 and a state runner-up finish in his third year there. I just think that he just did a fantastic job. And then I have DeMarcus Gainaway Sr., who is the head football coach at Owensboro. He lost his first 2 games, and then he didn't lose again for the rest of the season. He took them 13-2 and won the state championship in his first year as the head football coach. And then I have Travis Burns of Pulaski County. In his second year, Travis took Pulaski County to the state runner-up position, and I think that's a pretty big accomplishment in just your second year as a head football coach. And then I had Steve Stonebreaker of Danville. I thought Steve did a really good job. That program has been rock bottom. People listen to this podcast, they do not understand how good Danville was during their heyday. They were incredibly good. And now they hit rock bottom, and then he's kind of given them life again. So to sum it all up, in my opinion, David, I think the overall state coach of the year should come from and be picked from either Brandon Smith or Melvin Cunningham. And I think the others would be honorable mention. I think DeMarcus Gainaway, Travis Burns, and Steve Stonebreaker would be honorable mention picks for me. But I think that the two coaches that I think just kind of went over the top with their situation and what they had to deal with would be Brandon Smith and Melvin Cunningham. That's who I would pick from if I was voting.
Hey, I think those are good choices, and we had a lot of overlap in our picks there. So that's pretty cool. Yeah.
David, let's move on to the tough topic. That's a lot of people like to listen to our tough topic, and that question is: should there be a minimum requirements to host the Kentucky High School Athletic Association football playoff game? And as I said in the pre-show, there was some incidents this year with poor facilities, poor fields, that sort of thing. So it's a valid question. It's a good question, and it's a good question for this time of year. Maybe it can be fixed and adjusted for next year. What do you think?
Well, I think there should be, and I think that a minimum should be that the teams themselves can be accommodated with shelter and so forth. I will say this though, and I don't even want to talk about the schools. From my understanding, what was sort of, I guess, why it was sort of led us down this road, I think there was some miscommunication between the two administrations that sort of made it turn out like it turned out. And I'm not going to get into it now. I've had one get me. I talked about it on Bluegrass Preps, but our locker room, we had it and it was right there next to it, but it really wasn't the way it should have been. It was bad. And our opponent was Mike Yeagle and Beechwood. Hey, that's just great. Exactly what we needed. So I do think there ought to be minimum requirements. But what I don't want it to turn into, though, is that affluent communities and school districts own the playoffs. If you've got good locker facilities and those kids can get dressed and get out of the weather, then I'm good. If the field is playable, now I'm not saying that it's perfect. If the field is playable, then you play. And I think as long as the shelter piece of it is addressed, as long as the field is playable, and the other part of it is too, it's hard to think about this one. 2002, we're playing Russell again. They beat us 12-7 in the rain at Russell. We were number 1 in the state. So we're going back to play them in the region championship. The Russell field was a disaster. Well, Ivan said, David, we're going to move to Ashland. Their field's a lot better. And what I'm getting at is most of the time, coaches they're not going to have you come play at their place if it's a disaster. They don't want to do it. So we move it to Ashland, and they beat us 11-8. I'm like, I'm never going to get over those two, especially 11-8. But anyway, what I'm getting at though is that as long as you can accommodate the lockers, the halftime, the dress, and all that, but I do think that's got to make sure you got that piece in place. Go ahead. What do you think?
Yeah, my answer is absolutely 100%. There should be some minimum requirements, especially when you get to the third and fourth rounds. The first and second rounds, you can maybe live with, but when you get to the third and fourth rounds, I think the field surface should be up to par. Grass surface that is in good shape, or a turf. I think those two things, either you're going to have to prove that your grass field is in good shape, or you have turf to play on. I think you should have adequate dressing facilities. The restrooms it should have restrooms in it. It should be a warm and big enough space, to get dressed in and to be able to meet at halftime. It should be in close proximity to the playing field. I mean, you're going to have to do this. I just think that's important. I think you should have sufficient lighting. I think stands should be separate if possible to really to prevent disagreements, fighting, bickering between fans. So it'd be nice to have separate stands for the fans. I think it should be treated as a big deal. You know what? Because it is a big deal. The third and fourth rounds are the quarterfinals and the semifinals. It's a big deal, and I think that the facilities that accommodates that situation should be adequate or better than adequate. It should be treated as a big deal, and I think that there should be a committee that approves it. I think that the home team that's hosting it should prove that they can do those things. Provide a warm, big enough space to get dressed in that has restrooms. I think that if they can't, then you should be considered moving it to a place that can meet those accommodations. I do think that the field conditions have improved with the turf fields. There's so many turf fields now, but there's a lot of fields that aren't up to par. There's a lot of grass fields that aren't up to par. And
there's a lot of grass fields that are up to par.
100%. I'm not saying they're not. I'm just saying that there's a lot that aren't, and that's what the discussion is how about the ones that aren't? Should they be able to host? No, they shouldn't. I'm sorry, but you shouldn't. And the facilities have got to be adequate. I just think that's my opinion. I think it's the third and fourth round. I don't think you should play on a sloppy, muddy field. I think last year, South Warren moved because we got all that rain in the third round. They moved their game over to Warren Central High School because they have a turf field. Because it didn't want to be on a sloppy, wet, muddy field for the game. Yeah, I lost the game and it was my home field, and we lost in 1997. We beat Bourbon County during the regular season pretty handedly, and then we hosted the game, and our field was horrible, and we hosted it, but we didn't really know what to do. So we played it anyway. If hindsight's 2020, I guess we could have asked somebody if we could use their field. I didn't know how it worked. I was kind of new at it, but we played the game and got beat 20-0. Couldn't get a first down, because it was nothing but mud on the field. So I've been there, done that. I just think when you get to the third and fourth rounds, I think the facilities should accommodate a big deal atmosphere for the kids.
Hey, and I'm gonna back you up on something here. At Boyle County, it should be turf because that field was either a pond or it was pond dirt. But it was always tough at Boyle County not to have a muddy field when you had rain. So that I love my grass, and I do love my grass, but I will concede this to you. at Boyle County, you need to play on turf instead of on the pond dirt. I agree with that 100%. So
they have turf now. So, but anyway,
yeah, so they're okay.
David, I
Hey,
like
the only thing. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh, go ahead.
Well, the only thing that you said that I didn't like, I just don't like committees, and I know that's because I'm old and stuff. I'd rather have somebody that both programs trust and let them inspect it, or find somebody. I don't know. I tell you what, I just get nervous on committees because committees is when shady stuff happens and people hide. So that'd be the only thing here's where I'm going with this. If Chuck Smith's going to come to Anderson County High School and decide if our field's good enough, I'm good with that. I'll live with that. If you sending me a committee, I'm just saying I'm going to trust you better than a committee.
I don't think that they would ever get a committee together, but I think that the principal athletic director should take pictures of their field and their dressing facility, restrooms, locker room, and they should have to send it in on the third round if they're the host team to the Kentucky High School Athletic Association. Fax or email those pictures to the Kentucky High School Athletic Association and let them give the thumbs up or thumbs down on it if they're hosting or not.
I got you.
Yeah,
I got you. I would almost say this though. I wouldn't want that to be an automatic thing. I would want that to be if the opposing coach was concerned about it. Because if the opposing coach is,
it's automatic.
Yeah. Well, we disagree on that one, but that's all right. Hey, we're going to be boring if we agree on everything. We don't want to do that. So,
hey, David, I appreciate it. It was a good episode. I really liked it.
Yes, it was. I agree.
To iron out some things and hopefully we're not experts, but we like to give our opinion. Appreciate you.
Yeah, we do. We like to talk. Hey, it does. It's sometimes it feels like 1986 and we're back in that office. We just don't have Jack sitting there with his sweater tied around his neck, harassing me, or Coach French just sort of sitting at his desk, rolling his eyes, just trying to get his work done without paying attention to us. But hey, our last episode, think of it like a Christmas gift for our listeners. They like the tough topics. They love to hear those. I don't know how many we're going to do. We're going to get that ironed out or what they're going to be on, but we're going to just, our last episode's going to be all tough topics. We're going to go into a little bit more depth on them than I think we've been able to do in the past. And that's how we're going to finish up season 4. And we're excited and looking forward to it. And it's going to be great. So we appreciate our listeners. And I know we've said it before, but our listeners drive the content. We want to do a great job for our listeners. And we appreciate it when you tell us, hey, I like this, I like that. That helps us do a great job. So please keep giving us the feedback.
Thank you, David. And we'll be signing off and appreciate you guys tuning in.
The Coach's Office Trivia Timeout answer. Flagey High basketball featured Howard Schnellenberger and Paul Horning. Bonus points if you knew they also started Cheryl Sipes, who started in the Notre Dame backfield with Horning, and that their center was Jerry Harper, the all-time leading rebounder in Southeastern Conference history. Join us next time for another Coach's Office Trivia Timeout.